Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lyds, and we're back for some more Thronebreaker, and last time we took on the Siege of Dragobor, which was this city here, in which we fought some Nilfgaardians, and after we won that encounter, we had the choice of either sticking with a Nilfgaardian law that they had created, or repealing that law. And the thing was, the law was actually something that was helping the non-humans, and so in some ways, that was kind of a good thing. However, the locals were not pleased with that new Nilfgaardian law, as good as it might seem in theory. So we had a choice, either siding with the locals, or doing the thing that seemed morally correct. We chose to side with the locals. However, in doing so, we made our own dwarven companion, Gabor, displeased, and he has now left. Which stinks, on one hand, because of course there was at least one time when Gabor was a pretty crucial component to our deck, and was at the very least, from a narrative standpoint, an important ally to us as well. However, on one hand, I totally understand why he did that, and I would say, honestly, really well written by CDPR on this one, because I totally understand where Gabor was coming from, totally reasonable, and I feel like in so many other games, it just feels really forced when a squad mate chooses to leave your group or something else bad happens to your team like that. So really well designed in that way. And then on the other hand, I mean, ever since we got the Skellige guys, we've kind of been cruising. So as much as I really would like to have Gabor still in our team, in truth, I'm not really sure it's going to affect us that much. So, of course, I will wonder what might have happened if we had chosen to go the other route, and I'm sure 2020 hindsight, if we had had perfect information, we probably would have gone the other direction, but alas, what can you do? We are going in blind, and so those types of things can and will happen. As for what we have planned next, though, we now know that there is a battle over here and something over here, as well as another battle in this direction. So, what are we doing on morale? We're neutral? Okay. So, I mean, I have no idea what that's going to be. Maybe we hop over to this battle. I imagine there's probably going to be something over in this corner as well, so seeing as how there's a path that's going somewhere. So maybe we check that out. And we see how we can do without Gabor. And we even made a small adjustment to our deck that I think might have made it even stronger, so something to be said for that as well. But these guys, they might even be dwarves. And do they know that we may not have done the best thing for the dwarves just mere moments ago? Milady, couriers have arrived from Mahakam. The Zigrin's Bank, to be more precise. Oh, well, this is awkward. They've arrived with several sacks heavy with coin. Your earnings from the investments you made with... What? What? No. I totally thought that this would just never amount to anything. Because we did it so long ago, and at the end of Mahakam, we even circled back to see if there was any other way to interact with the bank that we invested those coins in, and I had just assumed that those coins would be lost. So I don't remember how many coins it was that we invested at the time, but it definitely wasn't 1,500. It might have been as much as 1,000, though. But that is a hefty sum of coins that I did not expect to receive, although just very odd. Kind of ironic after having just, as I said, lost Gabor. So we're just not gonna bring that up to these guys. But now we have over 3,000 gold, and we did have a very gold-expensive upgrade that we were thinking about making. But, nah, we don't need that. But it was this, which I think is, yeah, still 5,000 gold, which at least... It might have been as recent as the last episode. I was saying how it seemed like this was just going to end up being out of reach. But now, perhaps it is possible. Certainly not in the short term, but, I mean, that dose of coinage certainly went a long way. So, alright, I mean, we'll take it. We'll also take these. This, I don't think, is any of the encounters that we were seeing before. No? Okay. So what is the deal here? Now, granted, watch there be something right here that's going to say, oh, one moment while we just take all those resources back. Are those look like they might be elves? Let's see. Your Grace. These hovels are inhabited by elves. They're starving, for none in Gradabor are willing to trade with them. I do wonder what would have happened here had we gone in a different direction in Gradabor. They've offered to sell what little they have for next to nothing. Mere scraps and modest coin. I mean, that, I suppose, that's one of the things we were asking ourselves after finishing that encounter was, we chose to side with the locals, and we lost Gabor in the process, so we paid a very hefty price. But was there anything to gain from doing that? Because, it, at the time, didn't seem like it, but maybe, even though this is kind of dark, kind of not exactly positive from a narrative standpoint, it does potentially help us. Such a favorable offer I cannot deny. We spend 250 gold to get 100 wood. We really don't need wood, though. I shall not prey on their misfortunes. I shall trade with them, but for a fair price. That is far from a fair price. That is astronomically expensive wood. Or pity their lot, but I have no intent to trade. I mean, we might be able to come back here on a later occasion, I don't know, but neither of these look particularly intriguing right now, because gold is the thing we need, and yes, it does seem as though we can come back later if we absolutely need to. So that's good, because that our circumstances may change. Alright, there's another shrine, so that's good. That looks like a Nilfgaardian lumber camp of sorts. And then this was the pathway that we were eyeing before. We were wondering if there's going to be anything behind here, and might just be the shrine, but is there anything hiding in the corner? I mean, that stump apparently had a bunch of gold in it, so I guess we'll take that. Yeah, I think we'll try to stay on neutral morale for the moment, and we'll save these shrines for a later occasion if we feel as though we really need them. So I think we're just going over here, unless there's something hiding in this corner. Okay, so this is a battle. It looks like, well, several Nilfgaardians. This guy might not be a Nilfgaardian, though. So what's going on here? Alright, a new order. The vast majority of Rivians greeted the return of their queen with joy and relief, but not all. Some quickly adapted to the new order. They stood ready to defend, fighting side by side with the invaders, prepared to kill their fellow countrymen. Okay, well, it's a standard battle, and so this is the first standard battle we've had since making that minor adjustment to our deck, because the previous one in the big city was just a one-round battle. So this will be full length here. So now we do have Divana Runestone, which I think we used it with a Disgraced Warrior last time around, although we might actually prefer to go Disgraced Brawler. And I think, technically speaking, the earlier we use this, the better. So getting you down as soon as possible, and then basically turn 2 playing you, and then maybe we save Mahakamail for a later round, and that way we can expedite this process. We do still have Artifact Compression. Let's see what we can learn about our opponent before we make any other changes. Strengthen all allies by 1. Visiting Ambassador. Okay, it doesn't say anything about a cooldown. Is that just a one-time... Excuse me. one-time thing? Which is strange, because that's very uncommon. And theoretically, you know, the longer they wait on that, the stronger it would be. And I don't know how the AI is going to approach that. So, I mean, we have some decent cards here. Barnabas and Isabel we certainly would like to play at some point, but not so much in round 1, so I'm a little tempted to get rid of you now, and I think we're just trying to go as many Skellige guys as possible. Dogger in hand. I mean, he's mostly for round 2/3, but I guess we'll settle for this just so that we don't blow through all of our redraws right here, right now. So let's begin, I think, with the Brawler, with the understanding that we are very likely to go Divana Runestone on our next turn, because that way we can immediately, or at least as soon as possible, destroy them, empower all the other ones in our hand, deck, and battlefield. Because when we did this last time round, we already had some guys that were in our graveyard, and that those do not get powered up when they're already in your graveyard, so that's why doing this early is meaningful. So let's start with you. We don't have anyone we're going to hit when we use our leader ability with the damage from you guys, but is there anyone we'd really like to get out? I mean, we could get out more Skellige dudes, and we probably should. Patricide, yeah. I mean, we can get him out with Dogger as well, so I suppose we might as well. So let's get rid of you. let's add Patricide, and we'll add, I guess, you. Just get as many of these guys out as early as we can.
Washes away all shame. May the great hands here. Time I wiped it away.
Okay, so
102, 100.
promising recruit after. Wait, what? I mean, you did it turn 1? Okay. Can they do this every turn? So what I'm wondering is this going to be a different Nilfgaardian deck than the types we've seen with most other encounters? After 2 allies appear on the battlefield, boost up by 8, gain resilience. It's been a long time since we last saw one of these guys, but I do vaguely remember seeing that. Okay. So, I mean, we could remove you with the... wherever the artifact impression is, but as I was saying, I think we want to go to Divana Runestone as quickly as possible. So let's do that. They immediately go down. It means everyone immediately gets powered up here. And we'll just do, I guess Disgraced Warrior is now much stronger, more quickly than we have had them before. We can't play it on this turn, because we just played, but does make you wonder if we might be able to. I'm tempted to do that as well, but I guess we can wait one more turn. Makes you wonder if we might be able to immediately get the Death Wish on these guys. Is that the first time we've seen an enemy use Rivia and Pikemen against us? And there's our confirmation. Yes, they do have a different deck compared to most other Nilfgaardians, and it is thematically fitting that they're using the Rivians against us. But now this is much stronger with Patricide. How did you... Oh. Yeah, no, it's not play 2 allies, it's allies appear, so summoning all of these immediately activated that. I see now. Okay, so I mean, that's not a bad target for Tainted Ale for that reason. But we didn't really set ourselves up for that. You're not a boss, though, so I mean, yes, we could Artifact Impression you, and that'd be pretty effective. On the other hand, as I was starting to say, more Skellige guys, more quickly, the better. So maybe we can still get away with...
As today the day?
Doing a little more in round 1 with that. And this, you have carryover because you have resilience, so we definitely want to try to target you. And just whoever else, I guess. We have so much armor now that these Disgraced Brawlers just don't even care about the self-damage part.
You can try to win them all, but you won't.
It's weird. It's so weird. Because yes, we are absolutely seeing all the cards that we saw very, very long time ago, back when we were in Lyria. And, well, these guys left. These guys left us. And I actually wonder if we might be able to get some of these cards back once we defeat this enemy. Let's see, so... I am still a little intrigued about Artifact Impressioning you, although they have so many units on the board now that this is pretty effective. Patricide, so that might not be all that necessary. So let's continue to Skellige it up. Because that makes a pretty big difference. And now, I don't necessarily think we need to get the Death Wish on these guys. We might just be able to kill with them, which is not something we are usually able to do. So you would hit for 9, we're functionally in 19. We'd be at 10 once we get hit, that means, and we could destroy you. So that's pretty darn tempting. I think we do that. Get rid of their carryover. Now, granted, means if they do keep on playing, then Patricide's a little bit weaker and we don't have an obvious target to go after anymore, but, well, now we do. Okay. Unless we Artifact Compression you, which could also work. You guys have the, yeah, damaging Death Wish, so we don't want to target you with Patricide. Everyone else has a bunch of armor unless we're working on this guy that we were whittling away at before. We've run out of most of our Skellige guys in hand outside of Dogger, who we don't want to play unless and until we can use our lead ability to get him back into our deck. So not thrilled about that. It might kind of have to be Artifact Compression here. They haven't shown much in the way of damage yet. So this might actually be kind of a safe play. Technically, we should have done this first. Nope, that. And, I mean, we could do that. We can tank almost all the damage with the Disgraced Warrior, but maybe we wait and see if there's something more important that they play later. And you'd think they'd pass right around now, but they have not. Oh, it's an order. I was going to say, I thought that activated all the cards that we had very long time ago. But yeah, I was surprised when nothing came out. So, you have 13 armor, which is astronomically high. I mean, we are still in the lead here, and they don't have any resilience units on the board at the moment. We could go with the Jade figurine as just a way to drop something relatively small and see if they're going to continue trying to push here. Don't really think we can break through that armor quickly enough to shut you down. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 units. So we hit you with Patricide. You still have 4 armor and 12 power. And at that point, Disgraced Warrior still can't really do too much against you. So I don't really think that helps us too much, unless we did some creative Reynard stuffs. And at this point, we definitely don't want to be using Tainted Ale. It's too late to reliably get that to activate in this round. So I think we'll go Reynard. I think we'll do this. I think you will... Okay, now, a smarter person at math would be able to more easily tell, like I could crunch the numbers to see if it's technically worth Reynarding and getting Patricide again before we use both of these Disgraced Warriors, or doing this first. Then we get more order abilities, but it means that you're going to get hit harder. So maybe it's just Reynard now.
We must trust each other.
Oh, also you get yours back. Okay. So, I think in that case, this is probably fine. Before we do that, though. Huzzah. Yeah, no, this is definitely fine then, and in fact, might as well, it's going to be serious overkill damage, but take 1 damage versus taking 3 damage in this case. So, I think we can settle with that, and that's hopefully all we need to do in this round. May not have needed to commit Reynard, but I think it was still pretty useful, and it does confirm that we'll win the round, so that is nice. And 5 cards apiece. Okay. We won on even. That's very good. Because now we could just drive past here, force them to go a card down. We still haven't played... I thought we played Jade Figurine. We didn't do that? Okay. I mean, we could mulligan you out, try to get something better. We probably should, tell you the truth. Is that the only time that has ever happened where we've had Jade Figurine and we've had the opportunity to mulligan it? Not that Bomber is that much better, but that's more what I'm looking for. Okay. I probably would like to see an Infiltrator for round 3, but as I said, I think at this point... Oh, we're on 8 cards, though, so we do need to play something. Darn. Okay, I didn't realize the round was that short for round 1. Oh, well, we added a card to our hand when we got the Jade Figurine. So I think we just go for one of the Skellige guys here. That way they end up in our graveyard, and we can get more of them back when we use Dogger. I mean, technically, we could play Dogger, and our leader ability is off cooldown, so we could put Dogger back into our deck, and that just gives us the Dogger deploy ability for huge value, plus, so really hard for them to out-tempo us, and then we can still bring him back in round 3 as well. I think that it technically means less cards coming out when we play Dogger in round 3, but I think it may force them to go multiple cards down here, and that is not bad.
Think I'm a bear. Don't need no weapon. Come here.
And don't forget they gain 1 power when we're using the horn. 1 base power every time we bring them back out, so may not seem like a huge deal, but when we're talking about 8 units, that is something. And then we can put Dogger back. Oh, I guess we technically, if we had anticipated this is the direction we wanted to go in, would have preferred to have kept these guys in our deck, because then we could get rid of Dogger and replace him with those 2, but I don't know that we have any else any other ones remaining. Yeah, I mean, we could just go for weak cards like the figurine or even the footman. So we definitely don't want Dogger to go into our graveyard. Let's put him back. And I could see what happens with Barnabas, but mostly just looking to put up ridiculous tempo here. And then we'll just go footman, so we don't get in round 3. Just going for ridiculous tempo, because there's no way that they can get 117 points in one turn, right?
Scrubbing duty again?
That guy will,
God.
I'm pretty sure, end up getting that resilience, if round 1 was any indication. We definitely could destroy him, but I think we are, well, I mean, technically, any of these other Skellige guys we play, we can still get out in round 3, so we don't really need to be that concerned about playing them. Because going one more turn means we could, I would have to imagine, destroy you with all of our damage here. But we could, we'll just pass. We'll allow you to get the carryover on that guy and see how many turns it takes you to catch us. Because there is the boost and the resilience. The boost does not carry over from one round to the next, though. What does this guy do? Damage highest unit by 5. They still haven't caught us, though. So we're gonna have ridiculous card advantage. The thing is that we're gonna have ridiculous card advantage. Okay. In round 3, we are going to have 5 card advantage. So for that reason, I'm fine with them managing to get a 13 power card carrying over. I think in the grand scheme of things, I'll take 5 cards over one 13 power unit just about any day. So now we can play Mahakamail early. Dogger now gets a whole bunch of stuff out from our graveyard. We do not have much in our deck. I think a lot of this is misleading, as we've seen before. We definitely still have Barnabas there. But we now have a couple of Infiltrators, we have a couple of Alchemists, we still have Tainted Ale, so that all works great. Yeah, I think this is pretty much ideal. Okay. Damage highest power enemy unit by 5 if its power is an even number. So, I mean, I think we're... technically, I guess, Mahakamail doesn't make a difference unless and until we have units on the board, so playing it on the absolute first turn doesn't really matter. Oh, and also, because it took them so many turns to catch up to us, we already have our leader ability back off cooldown. So, yes, we can get those guys out. So, alright then. Well, in which case, I guess we... How much does Isabel have? Not that much. Yeah. Alright. We have so many options here. You're going to get powered up to... We actually want something that is currently on an odd number. So this is going to get you up to +1. And none of the Skellige guys are on odd numbers, unfortunately. Oh well. Okay. So, we'll play you.
Come on,
sure.
kill me.
And then we might... Oh, actually, we would have preferred to have played you. Leader ability to replay you. And I guess we're just going to get... We are going to get you back out. I'm pretty sure of that. Pretty sure we're just going to do this, because we are going to have enough time to... We are going to have enough time to use that leader ability again. That's earlier than I'd like to use a Barnabas.
Yes, I'm on it.
Well... We might just give these guys immune. So I don't think we have Blitz units remaining. We have 1 Blitz unit remaining. So if we really wanted to, we could do this. However, we're probably going to get that guy out with our leader ability eventually anyway. So I think we just do this. Granted, it means that... you might still be able to hit him. Also... It was 2-point boost. Okay, so you're still an even number. So I don't know if you have to... Yeah, you can. You can hit. Okay. Okay, so we... This is the... You get powered up if we play range row. Playing the melee row, you boost all the units in your hand, but because you went so many cards down, you have almost nothing remaining in your hand, so that's no big deal. Oh, also, we should have played these guys in either row. That way we could have immediately gotten the full value out of Mahakamail. My bad. That's minor, but we'll play something in the melee row next turn.
As you command.
Different allies played from your hand are moved to the other row. Move next to it, boost it by 3. Okay. So obviously we can go Dogger for ridiculous pointage. We also could go Tainted. I mean, we've so much time to do whatever the heck we want. Also, we did learn that we technically need to go with Infiltrator before you Tainted Ale. We finally confirmed that. Guess we'll just do this. And this is where we'll get the stuff in the melee row.
Come here, let's dance.
Oh, right. We should try to play the melee row, because you like when we play in the range row. And we don't really care about boosting stuff in their hand that much. Well, whatever they have in their hand is going to end up being pretty big now, I suppose. But maybe that's how we get the Tainted Ale to work. We're probably going to run out of board space for what it's worth. Unless we make a point of sacrificing the Disgraced Warriors, which might be a little bit difficult. Might be a little bit difficult since they've become so much stronger. But maybe we go Infiltrator here.
Go, pop, pop.
And we might see. Go with you. You would get sacrificed, right? And we will have time to replay Dogger with our leader ability, so even if we do get these guys in our graveyard, we can still get them back. So we're just going to create some board space. And this still works. Anything other than that, and... Oh no, you could... I mean, sure, we'll lose the immunity, not that that really matters. Okay, and now don't hit this guy or that guy. And I guess you're an engine, however, you have so much armor that I don't really think that's going to make a huge difference, so I'll hit you instead. And these guys, we may or may not choose to use them, depending on if there's something important for us to get rid of that is within range. You're also pretty big. I mean, anything, as we were saying, they had in their hand was going to be pretty big. But that was their last card. And we still have 6 cards here, and we still have over a 50-point lead. So we could play this one out. But, I mean, we already have our 300-point achievement, so not really sure we need to go any further than this. Not really sure we have any point that we need to prove. Thought that was Tainted Ale for a second. I was like, no, we need to go Infiltrators first. So, yeah, we would go Tainted Ale there now on this turn. And then we would replay Dogger in a little bit. Get all the other Skellige guys out. Use the Alchemist to power people up. Isbel is not... Alright, you know, sure. We'll do it. We'll do it. It does need to be you. For... technically we should play here, right? So, do that. And then do that. You come back. Then we want to put you here.
We got a job to do.
Oh. I mean, I guess that kind of works. It's a little unfortunate, but still okay. What was it that just damaged him by... Oh, that. Well, that's actually a little unfortunate, because we don't want you to get hit. But we could, I guess, now go after you, potentially. We would like to have something that is to the left of our biggest units, which we can't really make happen at the moment. Do have our leader ability back, so we can replay Dogger here and get out a bomber, I suppose. But I guess it's not the end of the world if we go in this row and worst comes to worst, it hits the Infiltrator and he tanks it with the armor. So we'll go there. Replay Dogger along with you.
Ludicrous. Give me some of that.
And now we've no choice but to go range row here, because our melee row is full.
Come on.
So I'm pretty sure getting these guys back out is still going to be a lot more valuable than that is. Now for you, as I was saying, I think we probably do still go this row. And now we hit you again. Oh, we haven't technically played a unit from our hand. Sure, go with another Skellige guy.
Think I'm a beard.
And I mean, once this guy comes back, we're gonna have basically no room. This, I think, does get outright destroyed. So we'll have one more spot in our melee row eventually. Starting now. Okay, so... However, we do need to prioritize space here, because this may very well end up being the last turn in which we can actually fit a unit, unless we deliberately sacrifice some Disgrace Warriors, but they're so big right now that that might not even be possible. So we'll get Isabel out here, so we can hopefully destroy every last card that they have, although they do have a fair bit of armor, so that may not be quite as straightforward as it may seem. But we'll hit you. And we are above 300. Again, that threshold doesn't really matter anymore, and, you know, the Alchemists, we didn't have any room to get weak units over here anyway, so the best use case for them is, well, it's not really there, which is why I'm deprioritizing them. But can we still sacrifice you? We could. Is that worth doing when we have 21 base power on the board? It might not be. So I think we might just end this turn. Rather than sacrificing these guys, rather than using these order abilities, which, I mean, granted, these order abilities, if they didn't have armor, would be worth doing. But technically, they are still, at worst, net neutral. So, sure. And since they have a little bit of armor, they're actually still net positive. At least we can destroy that guy. And they do make Isabel stronger. Yeah. Which is probably not going to be necessary. Because now Isabel is up to 140, so even if they have some armor, that's definitely not going to be enough. And technically should have done this first. But just wanted to have this match last long enough for us to do that. And beat them by over 300 to 0 with 2 cards to spare. And many order abilities to spare as well. So, we'll end there, just to prove a point. Okay, I was kind of expecting for there to be some dialogue afterward, though. Maybe some follow-up on how these guys were once Rivians, or Lyrians and Rivians. I mean, technically, I guess they kind of still are, but they're also traitors. Maybe we'll get a letter somewhere here. But yeah, maybe, you know, going forward, if it looks like we're in a situation like that in the future, we might not play that out. You know, as soon as we have the win, we might just settle for that, because I think, as I said, we've proven the point. We know how the deck plays out at this stage. The Skellige guys, yes, they are absolutely busted, no question. And again, that's perhaps why it might not be a huge deal that we ended up losing Gabor. Attention elves, dwarves, halflings, and other vile non-humans. I, Queen Meve, hereby proclaim that upon regaining my throne, you shall be punished for aiding the enemy in wartime. Your affiliation, or lack thereof, with the so-called squirrels is unimportant, squirrels being Scoia'tael, for treacherous blood nevertheless flows through your veins, and it must be spilt. Her Majesty by right divine, Queen Meve of Lyria and Rivia. So, yeah, again, harsh propaganda that they are trying to send out and make it seem like Meve is a dictator, and at one point in time, perhaps we were. Kind of, sort of. We half-jokingly would say. And, you know, maybe after our decision in the previous video, that's still kind of a little bit true, but they're exaggerating. They're exaggerating. We're not nearly that bad, right? But anyways, it seems as though, at this point, we have basically done everything there is to do in this corner, besides maybe going back there to trade a little bit of one resource for another. Don't yet know what the deal is with that point of interest or with that battle, but those are probably the things that we'll be eyeing next. But with that being said, I think this is probably a good place for us to wrap up here. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you next time.